All right. Thank you all for joining us for this brief session, a bit of a break from our normal panels and interviews. This is a slam performance by poet and performer Robbie Dunning. I'm so happy you could be here with Robbie, me, and 1455 Literary Arts. Okay, so just for some context, Robbie Dunning is a trans and non-binary poet, performer, artist, and educator living in the Boston area. Born and raised in rural Virginia, Robbie believes in the power of representation, storytelling, and creative community. They prize working with writers and performers of all ages to help hone their craft and clarify their stories. Robbie's work has appeared in Voicemail Poems, the Slam Chop podcast, the No No Project, Slam Find, and Right About Now. All right, so thanks so much, Robbie, for being here, and you can go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Robbie. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm originally from Berryville, Virginia. When I heard that the theme of this was storytelling, I thought immediately of a quote from a book that I read in college, Firebird by Mark Doty. I'm paraphrasing a little, but it basically boils down to what we remember can be changed, what we forget we are always. We live in the stories we tell, the stories we don't tell live us. That is a quote that has really been foundational to most of the writing that I have ever done. And with that in mind, I chose two short poems to read today. One is older, one is a little newer. Together, they tell a story of change that I know would have been longer and harder won if not for the power of storytelling, both for the writer and also my community. So again, thank you so much. And now I'm going to read these poems. Yeah, the only other piece of information I might give, just because it can be helpful for people who are not immediately in the know, is that the term dead name is a phrase used largely by the transgender community, but not just people in the trans community, to refer to their name that they were given at birth, that is no longer the name that they go by. Every time I speak to my parents before top surgery, or Thanksgiving 2010, or Night of the Living Dead names, they are everywhere. Scraping across the floor, decaying flesh flicking over slices of ham, a fresh red splatter across cranberry sauce, with every she, her, hers stuck sharp in me like shards of a gem meant to make me pretty. The name bursts from my family's throats. Bodies drip from their lips, a parade of the dead curling off my grandmother's drunken tongue. They don't even know how they are digging up this fresh grave over and over, and I do not know how many times the same dead thing can crawl from a mouth before my family becomes a cemetery of voices. This urgent resurrection trying to tuck me back into this grave of girl. I hurtle towards the bathroom, seeking any escape from the horror wind. The air shifts. Front door creaks open, and I am gathered, held tightly, skin knees singing the oasis of my aunt. Warmest body in the house holds me in her arm and asks, "What would you like me to call you?" And the second poem is called Everyone Transitions. One day my father wakes up and calls me his son without a second thought. The cat has never cared what I call myself as long as she gets fed in time. White oak tree in the backyard has been changing for years so slowly we barely notice. It is the work that makes it matter. The pause and consider before asking. Soft-voiced listening. Careful nudge towards healing. My mother needs to cry every day until she doesn't. One sister stubborn until she's not. We all find ways to be ourselves still, as autumn quickens to the freeze and snow melts into new blossoms. Maybe that's it. The consistency of self and needs that gives us all a handhold when things get hard. To know a name may change 1,000 times and never stop this spinning world. Surely, as the leaves change on trees, one day my mother will wake up and be done crying for who I once seemed to be. New wildflowers grow in the backyard as my sisters make up new nicknames to tease me. I'm still the youngest. That hasn't changed. Constancy of time at least reminds us of what is concrete and not. A thunderstorm brings a branch down on a power line, and my father introduces me proudly as his son. How recent the hurt was. A split second and 6 years ago. A dinner table made minefield, yet somehow we kept loving each other, and look where we landed together. Thank you again for having me. I love being able to share these poems with you all. Yeah.
That's awesome, Robbie. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I was on mute there for a second. Dude, that was great. Thank you. And thank you again for joining us for Robbie's slam performance. We're so pleased to have you spend time with us and experience a break from your world to witness someone else's. Please be sure to check out 1455 Literary Arts at www.1455litarts.org to learn more about the organization and the free programming offered throughout the year. This has been so awesome. I'm just so glad that Robbie was able to join me and just, I don't know, just give me a break from panels and interviews and just feel something very, very real. So thank you again, Robbie, and enjoy the rest of your 1455 days, everybody. Thanks.